This video contains spoilers, so if you haven't played the game, click off now. I'm giving you 5 seconds. Alright bitches, there's your warning. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy.
Go tell and roadie. Go tell and roadie. Go tell and roadie.
Where the hell am I?
Everybody's dead. I was raised in a deep dark hole, a prisoner with
What
no
happened?
parole. They locked me up and took my soul. Go tell and roadie. Go tell and roadie. Go tell and roadie that everybody's. Call to him and he will come. She'll run to him like he's the one. His arms outstretched, but when she's done, he'll be torn apart. Go tell and roadie. 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 Go tell and roadie that everybody's.
Must be pretty tough. Huh.
First and foremost, I want to say that Resident Evil 8 is by far one of my favorite games in the franchise, with it being just a little below Resident Evil 2 Remake. With that being said, the game does come with some cons, so it isn't all perfect, but it's just good enough for it to be an amazing game. First, let's talk about the gameplay. The game comes with new additions like hunting and cooking, which in my opinion add a breath of fresh air to the Resident Evil gameplay loop. Although a bare bones system, it still is just enough to feel different, and also feels rewarding at the same time, with cooking meals offering you permanent buffs like increased health or increased damage resistance. The 4 main areas in the game are Castle Dimitrescu, the Beneviento House, Morau's Swamp, and Heisenberg's Factory. The best one out of the 4 in my opinion is Castle Dimitrescu, as it's extremely non-linear and is super fun to explore. The area is sprawling with different environments and dungeons that really add to the eeriness and the mysterious nature of the castle itself. The puzzles felt kinda tacked on this time around, and I feel like they got super lazy as most of the puzzles are basically finding an item and bringing it back to this location. Overall, pretty disappointing. The exploration to me is where the game shines, as the vistas and environment are just absolutely stunning and really bring out the gothic theme of the game. You get access to treasure chests fairly early, which gives you more reason to explore and is accentuated through the game. These chests reward exploration by supplying the player with valuable items like secret weapons or valuable materials. I enjoyed this aspect very much and spent a lot of my time collecting these, especially for me because this helped a lot during my hardcore playthrough. This game is different in some big ways compared to its predecessor, with keeping a light on the horror aspect of the game. That's not to say the game doesn't have its creepy moments though. One specific part of the game called the Beneviento House is home to the most puzzling and scariest moments in the game. These types of sections are always appreciated, and this particular segment was really cool. Since this area is pretty short and usually takes around an hour and 30 minutes to complete, they really do throw everything they have at you. But in some cases, to me, this horror aspect is a bit of a downgrade compared to the other installments. But some moments during this phase really shook me down to my core, and I fucking love it. Finally, we get to the gunplay. Let's just get this right off the bat real quick. The gunplay is miles better than Resident Evil 7, with it feeling way more smooth and fluid, although sometimes a little bit clunky. The game is made to challenge your aim, with the enemy's AI designed to make quick erratic movements to make them unpredictable and hard to kill. This system can be annoying sometimes, but it sure does introduce an enjoyable challenge. Honestly, the gameplay is so fun to play every time that I frequently find myself just wanting to play more. All in all, playing it on hardcore mode is the game's sweet spot, presenting itself with the best difficulty and combat experience, forcing you to become more powerful and allowing you to think more strategically and conserve resources. I totally recommend it if you're a veteran and a hardcore fan of Resident Evil. Hell, even if you don't even like Resident Evil, or if you don't even play the games, this one is for sure the right pick. Since this isn't exactly the hardest game, it still poses a fun challenge to anybody who's interested. The story begins with a pretty heartfelt scene with Ethan and Mia Winters as they live in a modest home somewhere in Europe. Right off the bat, you can tell it's been some time since the events of Resident Evil 7, and the different tone setting really helps tell the difference. As a matter of fact, the whole game is a massive tone shift to Resident Evil 7, which really makes this game unique and special to me. Anyways, suddenly Ethan's home gets raided by Chris Redfield, and Ethan's wife Mia gets suspectedly killed in the process. As a result, Ethan's daughter gets abducted and you're left with no reason to why Chris did it. After that crazy encounter, you wake up alone and cold in a post-apocalyptic village looking for your daughter and her kidnapper. Ethan's in for a hell of a day as one obstacle comes across him after another, trucking through hell as he stops at nothing to find out what happened and to save his daughter. I gotta say, Ethan in this game is miles better than his Resident Evil 7 counterpart, and he actually has emotion and reacts to things he sees very appropriately. This dude gets mad, sad, and genuinely scared. There are moments in the game where I really feel bad for him as he absorbs so much pain. Swear man, dude is unbreakable. I really like the main character this time around, and if you weren't before, you'd probably be now. The only thing that's a bit of a nitpick is that he literally has no face, which can be intrusive during certain cutscenes, but all the more it has no effect on the main story, so I guess it's okay. Chris Redfield plays a huge part in revealing many key aspects of the game, and I gotta say, many of these revelations are really fucking cool, as it is revealed that the main villain, Mother Miranda, taught Oswald E. Spencer, the founder of Umbrella Corporation, so basically, the area where the village is are the literal origins of the Resident Evil universe. But anyways, on a side note, Mother Miranda is basically immortal and had a daughter back in the beginning of the 1900s, which happened to be Evelyn from Resident Evil 7, but sadly, she passed away to the Spanish flu. So in the game, she tries to resurrect her in her way through Ethan's daughter. Honestly, the game really pushes the evil villain as being evil, so you have to stop her from doing evil stuff trope, but that never really bothered me, and I'm not too critical on that type of stuff. As you progress, the plot gets revealed to Ethan through Chris that Mia in the beginning wasn't actually his wife and was actually Mother Miranda, since apparently she has the power to shapeshift out of form. She does this because she is slowly trying to infect and groom Ethan's daughter into becoming a vessel for Evelyn, which explains why Chris raided Ethan's house. Chris Redfield is trying to kill Mother Miranda because she is trying to make a bioweapon that successfully controls the mold, much like Evelyn was. One of the really cool revelations that get revealed is the fact that all the main bosses in the game are actually failed attempts as reincarnates of Evelyn, and I thought that was really interesting and a cool twist. Anyways, unfortunately though, this leaves Ethan clueless for half the game until now, and Chris knew that if he told him from the start, then this all would have gone a lot easier. That's why when Ethan is killed by Mother Miranda shortly after the Heisenberg fight, he feels terrible after the incident. So instead, for one half of the ending, you get to play as Chris for a short sequence of intense action. This was awesome as hell and really made me feel like a badass punching lichens and shit. You play as Chris going in to neutralize Mother Miranda and stop her from resurrecting Evelyn. As you progress, you stumble across Mother Miranda's secret laboratory, and this part is where things get really interesting, as you end up finding the real Mia in captivity there. Mia asks Chris where Ethan is, and he's forced to tell her what happened. We then get transported into Ethan's kind of purgatory state, where the biggest game reveal is told to us by Evelyn that Ethan was in fact killed in the Baker house by Jack, and he got infected with the mold, thus making his whole body mold, and explains why he's able to take so much damage. This part came as a real shock to me, and I love this shit so much. So in an emotional turn of events, he gets granted a second life, but this time on a subtle time limit. His body starts to deteriorate as he continues to save his daughter with the help of Chris. We then meet with Mother Miranda in an epic standoff, which follows an extremely hard boss fight, and in the end, we kill her and save Rose, Ethan's daughter. But Miranda has a final chip to play and basically starts a self-destruct sequence that engulfs the whole place with mold. So Chris is basically forced to bomb the entire village in order to stop the spread, which leaves Ethan and Chris in a tight time limit. In a close choice of actions, Ethan gives Chris his daughter and tells him to go to the evac helicopter. Although reluctant at first, he eventually gives in as he didn't want to leave Ethan. In an epic fucking sacrificial stance, Chris hands him the detonator and Ethan blows up the village with him inside. That's basically the story, and I gotta say, it's fucking brilliant. From every lore piece to cutscene, everything truly captivates you and you're never left bored. This was a satisfying ending to me, and a heart-wrenching one at that, as everything gets so emotional towards the end and the stakes get increasingly higher as you progress. I truly do recommend this game to anyone who's a true fan of Resident Evil. If you like Resident Evil 7, you're sure as hell like this game, as it still keeps some of the predecessor's elements of horror while also giving itself a unique twist on gameplay elements, action, and survival. This game leaves plenty to be set up and really expands the universe, and shit, I gotta say, I'm really excited with what Capcom will deliver in Resident Evil 9. So overall, this game is getting a 9.5 out of 10 for me. So, I hope you made it to the end of my Resident Evil review. And if you did, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.